All right. Peace and greetings, YouTubers. So welcome to another edition of In the News. Let's just jump right into it. Now, I got to start off with this current White House and the cabinet and all these different people who keep getting fired every other day. Because at this point, my question is, who is left working in the cabinet, working in these agencies, working at the White House? Because it seems like everybody's been fired. Who is left? Okay, I feel like the country's on cruise control or autopilot. Like, Donald Trump just put on a switch and was like, we just gonna let the country move. Ain't nobody running anything. There's nobody in all these offices. You call all the different agencies, it just go to voicemail. So I don't even know where the country going. We might run off a cliff, we might run into a tree, but we are on cruise control at the moment. Anyway, what's interesting about this one is, McCabe is the most recent person fired. He got fired by Jeff Sessions, who I think is on the way out the door anyway. Trump don't even like him. But McCabe got fired. But the thing that gets me is the level of pettiness that goes behind this man's firing. This man was 2 days away from retirement. All right, he had already clocked out. It was Friday. He probably had the going away party. They even had the balloons and everything. Because the government's not open on Saturday and Sunday. So, everything was just processed and he just wouldn't come to work that Monday and he was retired. And they fired this man on Friday night at 10 p.m., 2 days before retirement. And this man now is no longer eligible to get his $1.8 million pension. Mind you, he's been in his position or in his agency for like 22 years. That is some petty stuff. Oh, Donald Trump and Sessions. Hot mess. Couldn't have been me. Because I would have still came to work Monday like, hold up, I'm not fired. Because y'all not about to fire me at no 10 p.m. I clocked out at 5 o'clock. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not fired. And the government shut down on Saturday and Sunday. So you're not going to be doing no government business when we're supposed to be closed. I'm not fired. And I want my pension. And that's all it's going to be. Like, I know McCabe. Oh, I know McCabe wants to fight Jeff Sessions and Donald Trump together. He wants to take both of them out. And the worst part is, even if Donald Trump were to quit or resign or, just finish out his term or not be reelected in 2020 or get impeached, that man will have security for the rest of his life. So McCabe can't even catch him on the corner if he wants to. Now, Jeff Sessions, on the other hand, that might be a different story. But yeah, I know McCabe, he probably wants to punch Jeff Sessions in the heart too. And I think Sessions got a pacemaker. So, one good hit to the chest, it's a wrap. Hot mess. Side note, I did not know Jeff Sessions was only 71. I thought that man was like 89. See, that's what happens. See, when you be doing wrong and you're not doing people right, you don't even look well. I told you start aging like a sliced apple. And when I look at that whole cabinet, it's like almost all of them, okay? Like Trump looks like Trump. I don't even know what to say he looks like. It's interesting to witness. It's like an observation. I don't know what Trump looks like, but that's interesting. When Steve Bannon was there, he looked like straight death, just one step from the casket, and Sessions looks crazy. And then even when you get into Congress, freaking McConnell, my God. I'm like, see, all you people that's doing wrong, you all look terrible. That's exactly what happens when you do people wrong. Okay, karma comes and Mother Nature does its job. Even Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she better stop going up there lying every day, every other week, because that eyebrow keeps getting higher. And I don't know how the makeup team is not fixing that. Like, you're about to be on TV in front of the whole world to see, and you got one eyebrow 10 feet taller than the other one. Now, listen, I know I got acne and I know I didn't shave, but listen, this is just for my channel. I'm not in front of the whole country speaking. But best believe, if I was the press secretary or whatever she is, best I'll be looking on point every day. Anyway, hot mess. Even Melania, Trump then made that poor woman go get a facelift or whatever she did, and she can't blink anymore. Like, I've never seen this woman blink. I've seen her squint, but I swear I've never seen her blink. I know she probably got to use some kind of magical eye drops or something so her eyes don't dry out. But anyway, back to this cabinet. I don't know who's left there. Like, at this point, it's like Ben Carson. And I know he's on the way out because, he's in trouble with this whole thing with him spending $31,000 in tax dollars for a dining room set. Which is another question. Like, what kind of elaborate dinners are y'all hosting that you need a $31,000 dining room set? Because to be honest, Ben Carson and his wife seem so boring to me. They just seem boring and dry. Like, even the food they make seems dry to me. Like, I feel like they're a casserole type of family. Like, they make casseroles all the time. And you don't put no casserole on no $31,000 furniture. So I need them to invite me over to dinner because I want to see what it is that they're eating. Like, I feel like he makes chicken broth and she makes casserole and that's dinner. Like, even their conversations seem dry. So I need them to invite me to dinner. And I know we're neighbors because DC's not that big. They live somewhere around here. I know they do. So somebody, Ben, invite me over, man. All right, I'd like to come and have dialogue. By the way, that would be a really interesting conversation because you guys know I speak like 1,000,000 words a minute. And he speaks like 3 words a minute. So I want to see the dynamic of how that conversation would work out. But yeah, hot mess. McCabe, I don't know what to tell you, man. I think what happened, I feel like there could probably be some kind of lawsuit with that. Or he might just get hired by another agency quickly and still redeem his pension. I don't know. That's a hot mess. I know I'd fight somebody if that was me. Couldn't have been me. Moving on. I know you guys have seen the story about Florida and the bridge around Miami that collapsed. That is absolutely crazy. And it's always Florida. I swear, Florida Arizona, and Washington State. Those are the 3 states where something is always going down. Every time it's something crazy, it's one of them 3 states. But what's crazy about that bridge is somebody who's, I guess they had been working or doing, inspections or something, they had pretty much called VDOT a day before the bridge collapsed and said, hey, they left a voicemail. We noticed some cracks in the bridge, somebody, might want to check that out. Even though at the end of the voicemail they did state, but, I don't think it's anything too serious. But the worst part is nobody even listened to the voicemail until the day after the bridge collapsed. So I don't know what kind of administrative assistant was working that desk, but they were on it. Like, they must have been playing freaking Candy Crush all week. They said they're not answering no calls. They're not checking no voicemails. That's somebody who does not like their job, okay? That's what happens when you pay people $29,000 a year. The job does not get done. And so now this whole bridge done collapsed. These poor people, and that's going to be a lawsuit. Like, hell, I'm rich just thinking about it. Like, I want to sue myself. That is some Final Destination stuff. What a horrible way to die. You just get crushed to death. Absolutely terrible. I saw the clip of the Jeep that they were towing away, and the Jeep was like this wide, and I was like, prayers to that family. That is a horrible way to go. I feel so bad, because one of them was a young lady that attended the college, and then the worst, the guy that died, this black guy that died, he was a person that was in construction. I'm like, what kind of, Lord. Anyway, moving on. Let's get to some happier things. Well, this isn't really happy either, but we'll get into it. Toys R Us is on the way out. They filed for bankruptcy a few months ago, and now they're announcing that they're closing all the stores. They had already started closing all the Babies R Us stores, and now Toys R Us is out the way. And it's interesting. It's kind of just like the end of an era. And I just think times are different. Well, one, you have online shopping, so a lot of people are just not really going into physical stores as much anymore. But the other thing is, places like Walmart and Target, I feel like those are big competitors for a place like Toys R Us. And I feel like anywhere that you find a Toys R Us, you're going to find 2 or 3 Targets and a Walmart nearby. And people are going to go to those places because the prices are more affordable. So Toys R Us, I don't know. Plus, kids, honestly, I feel like kids don't even play with toys like that. This is a tablet generation. All they want to do is play on tablets. Like the kids I work with, it is so interesting watching them, because the minute I'm not a big fan of a lot of video games, so they can only do that crap on Friday. Monday through Thursday, we doing some other stuff. We gonna play outside. We gonna do some kickball. We gonna do some fun stuff. Like, if we not gonna do video games all day, y'all need to be social. Y'all need to learn how to interact with people, how to hold a conversation, how to process your anger when things don't go well. If your whole life is in front of a screen all day, then you become like a freaking robot. But anyway, it just makes me think, because I think back to when I was little, like, tablets didn't exist. And I remember, especially like if I would go visit my grandma in Savannah, Georgia, like me and my cousin Brandon. Like, he lived in Atlanta, I lived in Washington State, and every summer we would be at my grandma's house. And my grandma, we didn't have a lot of toys in my grandma's house because, all of our toys were where we actually lived. So there were a few toys that were there. And we had a cousin that was about 8 or 9 years older than us, and her toys were still kind of around, but she had like these toys from the 80s. She had like this little horse that you could play on, and it would roll, and like a few other little random toys. But like, we had to be creative, you know what I mean? Like, we used our imagination. We would get random items in the house and just have some bomb-ass games. One thing, we used to do this game, crazy, I don't know how we are alive, but we used to put all these different items on top of my grandma's ceiling fan. Like, the little wind-up toys that you get in the Happy Meal at McDonald's, things like this big. We'd put stuff like that on top of the ceiling fan. If we had an action figure, we'd put that on top of the ceiling fan. We would put quarters, peppermint, anything that was small that we could put on the ceiling fan. I mean, that ceiling fan would be loaded. Like, the little wings would be kind of bending down, flapping. And then what would we do? We would turn the ceiling fan on and run for cover. That game was called Hurricane. I mean, we would play Hurricane like nobody's business. And then them things started spinning because, the fan would first start spinning and everything is good. And then as it got faster, them toys are like, and you have to run and duck for cover. And, I mean, toys would be flying. And literally, you could probably take an eye out. But when you're little, that game was lit. We were like 8 or 9. We thought that was the funnest game ever. Like, you just had to use your imagination. Kids don't do that no more. So, like, another thing we used to always do, because there weren't a lot of toys in my grandma's house, we used to always put on, like, variety shows. Like, you remember the show, Forgive or Forget? Now, you had to be a little bit older to remember. This was out in, like, the late 90s. Forgive or Forget. It was this show where, I don't know, there'd be, like, a lady who cheated on her husband with his dad or something. And that's a horrible analogy, but let's just use that one. So, lady cheats on the husband with the husband's dad or something, and now the husband is on the show. No, I take it back. The lady's on the show, and she's like, I just messed up, and I miss him so much, and I just wanted him to come home, and I'm so sorry. And so she'd do all this stuff, and she'd, give all these apologies. And so after she told her whole story, there would be this lady, Mother Love. And Mother Love would be like, okay, let's see that door. And there would be a door behind the stage, and when they would open the door, if the husband forgave the wife, he'd be standing in the door, and they'd come out, oh, I'm so sorry, what are you going to do Like, they'd do that. Or if he was like, the hell with your ass, he didn't show up and they'd open the door and there'd just be a black curtain there. Yo, we used to reenact that show, and we used to do whole skits. I mean, the show was lit. Like, I should have, man, that stuff, that crap would be so intense. Mother love, to forgive or forget, that was the show to watch. I mean, we used to, and my grandma had a piano too, and I'll be on that like, we were on it. But anyway, so Toys R Us, it was a good era. Honestly, as a child, I didn't really go to Toys R Us. My place is KB Toys is where I always used to beg to go. We'd be in the mall, and there would always be like 2 KB Toys at the mall, and I'd beg, like, please, can we go to KB Toys? My parents didn't like taking me to the toy store because they thought I was annoying because I would want to beg for everything. So a lot of times, they would just give me like the Toys R Us catalog or the JCPenney catalog, and I just look at the toys that I wanted and circled them, and I wouldn't get none of them, but just the thought that counts. You know, I might get a little something for my birthday or Christmas, but honestly, I wasn't really... I don't know. They thought I was going to be an architect. So a lot of the stuff I played with were like Legos and Connects. I don't know if you remember the Connects. It was like these little things you could snap. You could make like whole roller coasters and stuff. I used to do like that. And then as I got older, I used to build a whole bunch of stuff with popsicle sticks. Like, I would make houses and crap. But anyway, moving on. United Airlines. Y'all been pissed off all of America because y'all been killed somebody's dog. Like, who puts a dog in the dang overhead compartment? Like, first of all, the story is this. The woman's on the plane. She has a dog in a little crate. I think the flight attendant didn't realize it was a dog's thing, and she told the lady she couldn't keep it under the seat. It needed to go in the overhead compartment. And I'm not going to call the woman who put the dog in the overhead compartment an idiot, but I'm just going to say sometimes y'all need to be more assertive. I'm sorry, I know we're on the plane and you got to obey what the people say, but listen, I'm not putting my dog in the overhead compartment. What the hell? And then the poor dog died. Just, oh, that's horrible. And I hope she didn't have, like, kids. I hope it wasn't, like, a whole family and they were, like, going to Disneyland or something, because them kids were probably on all them rides crying. They couldn't even enjoy the park because they thinking about the dog that died. That is horrible. And it's like, did the dog bark while he was in there? Like, everybody else who was sitting around was just cool with the dog being stuffed up in there. And you know when you're on the plane, they be shoving them bags in the compartment. So I can just see the flight attendant, like, hot mess. Oh, that poor dog. And then I saw the other thing where they shipped the dog to Japan. I'm just like, United, you know what? Between that and the woman who got $1,000 because she put her nasty feet on the dudes next to her, the food tray, and when he asked her to move her foot, she wanted to complain and felt like she was being, like, discriminated against, and she wasn't, she was being inconvenienced. And then they gave her a $1,000 voucher. United, y'all need to do better. This is why I fly Alaska, Delta, and Virgin, even though Delta's a headache as well, too, because they're too big of an airline. They be treating you like crap. But Alaska, that's that airline. I love them to death. That's not to death. Not to death. I gotta fly soon. But I love them a lot. Anyway. Oh, Snapchat and Rihanna. Snapchat, it might be the end for y'all. I mean, I haven't used mine in a couple months anyway, but Snapchat, if you don't know, they had this advertisement where it was like, I think, would you rather slap Rihanna or beat Chris Brown? Some crap like that. In poor taste. And so Rihanna clapped back and she posted her statement and how she felt about everything. And I've read that they've lost like $1 billion in the stock market within like the last few. Maybe it's not $1 billion. I don't know. I know it's a whole lot of money. I know that. But yeah, Snapchat do better. They've been struggling anyway, because as soon as Instagram added stories and Facebook added stories, Snapchat, it's been having a hard time. Because honestly, my source of social media entertainment is Twitter and Instagram, and sometimes Facebook. I'm trying to use the Facebook fan page a little bit more because I know I'm not really using it, even though I keep posting the link on the bottom. But yeah, Snapchat, do better. Last thing I want to jump into is I saw American Idol, the reboot. I don't think we need it. Sorry, it was boring. I didn't like it. The singing is always good, but sometimes when an era ends, you need to just let it go. And I don't think there was a need for American Idol. The problem is there's too many singing shows and talent competition shows already. You got America's Got Talent. You have The Voice. The 4 is out. Like, we got enough shows. And I think American Idol, during its heyday, did its job. But sometimes you just got to let things move on. It's just, I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. It's kind of like, I think they didn't learn that with TRL either, because TRL just got canceled again. And I said this before, like, TRL, it wasn't going to work because now in this day and age, you have YouTube and even iTunes. If people want to go, or Vimeo or Dailymotion, if people want to go and see their favorite music videos, they don't have to sit in front of the TV and wait for hours anymore. They can literally just go straight to the internet, type in what it is they want to see, and boom, there's their video. Now, I'm not going to lie, I was a TRL baby back in the day, because my neighborhood didn't get BET until 7 o'clock, because there wasn't enough black people where I lived. I know that's crazy, right? Like, it was a shared channel with not MSNBC, CSNBC. CSNBC would be on until 7 p.m. and then BET came on at 7 p.m. and would go off at midnight. So I could always catch it would go off at 2 a.m. So I'd always catch the last 30 minutes of 106 in Park and then everything else. But anyway, I was a TRL baby. So I remember them days. I used to sit there and watch them videos, be pissed off because you'd wait all day to see if your video made the countdown. And then when they made it, they ran out of time on the show. So it would only be on for 30 seconds. I used to be pissed. Oh, TRL, that was a show there. But yeah, I knew it wasn't going to last because there's just no sense of urgency. Kids these days are not going to sit for 2 hours or an hour and watch a show to watch their videos, when they can go to YouTube. If TRL really wanted to make it work, they were going to need to have performers. The best way to probably get people to watch the show is make it more of a performance-based show, because that's a void that I think is missing. There's not really a kind of American Bandstand kind of format anymore where you see your favorite performers perform every day. So I think if TRL wanted to survive, they should have tried to get as many people to perform every day. That way people have something to look to. The different little stand groups would actually sit and watch. But, people aren't going to sit and just watch and wait for a music video countdown, because it's a different day and age. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm out. Subscribe. We shall see what's going on. I wonder who's next to be fired. My money is on between Sessions, Carson, and Sanders. Either Sanders is going to be the one to quit or Sessions is going to be fired. Actually, no, Ben is going to be fired. He's going to be collateral. He got to go. So one of them three are going to be, out of them three, I think Ben will be the first out of those three. But it's going to be some other people fired before them three are even mentioned. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. I'm out. Subscribe.